Joseph Gordon-Levitt set up, and then it didn't go anywhere.
Do you want to start at 418?
We can't do this.
Okay. We're already in the podcast. Yeah, we're gonna.
We'll do
at 18.
Clap at 18. Okay.
7, 8. All right, everyone good?
And we're back. We're live.
Yeah.
Live
All right.
from New York. It's Saturday night. Wait, I can't say that.
Nope, it is Wednesday night. Thank you. Live from both the East Coast and the West Coast. Here we are. Okay, well, welcome everyone to A Court of Bros and Broses. This is a podcast where three straight men are taking the maiden voyage through Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses, and maybe we learn a little something along the way. My name is Nirav, and I'll be your host as always, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Joe and Patrick. Say hello.
Hello.
Okay, that was good. That was way more enthusiastic than we've previously been.
The notes you gave us last time, I said more enthusiasm with the greetings, so we both took that to heart.
All right,
yeah, you said give me more enthusiasm or you're off the fucking show.
I said give me more enthusiasm?
Yeah, it was a weird typo.
Tell me
Joe and I
is
both
that
noticed.
I cannot talk.
Okay. All right, I'm going to close this tab of which Greek god are you? Quiz on Spark Notes.
Coward.
I already know which one. It's Hephaestus.
Nice.
The ugliest of the gods.
But he has the hottest wife.
He does have the hottest wife, which is nice. Okay, so anyway, we are covering today chapters, I think, 16 through 19. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
I had to double check that as well.
Host of the podcast would know.
I did know it. I was just asking you to confirm it. I'm so tired. Okay.
There's been some infighting, as you can tell. This is probably the last episode of the show.
Yeah, I almost hope so. I'm so tired.
This is what we in the biz called playful banter.
Yes, we are playfully bantering. Okay.
We talk behind the scenes, but we all hate each other, like, significantly.
Yeah, that's true.
Contractually, we've made obligations,
farce.
But...
Oh, you know what actually is nice? I mentioned something yesterday while talking to Lindsay, and she's like, wait, did Joe and Patrick not know each other before this show? And I was like, no. And she's like, oh, wow. They have very good rapport. They sound like they've been, like, friends for a long time.
Well, Nira, we've been meaning to talk to you about this. Joe and I have actually known each other for years.
Okay.
This has all been a facade.
What was the reasoning for the facade?
Joe. Give a reason, quick. He's on to us.
Yes, and. Well, because fuck you, that's why.
Okay.
Nice, got him.
Fucking God is.
You're right. I walked right into that one.
Woo!
Okay, well, guys, we got to talk about Tamlin and his fucking rippling abs. Let's get.
We
into
got sexy. We did it.
Alexo was saying that she has notes for every. She doesn't give me the titles of each of these chunks, but she has in her own private notes. She has little titles what each of these chunks were, and this one's called "Catching Feelings." I was like, oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so,
I have some notes that I took, and they're good.
They're good. Okay, I'm glad that they're good.
Notes.
Just like his body.
Yeah, good notes.
I thought for sure we were gonna get, and all I'm gonna skip ahead on is I'm not gonna say it. We'll get there when we get there, but not enough dick.
Things are moving a little slowly, you guys. Come on, they're not gonna just hop right into it and bring down to Bone Town.
Yeah, no, Bone Town is like chapter 34. All right, so we just got through the part where Pharaoh was out in the woods and she met the cereal and some snake people appeared, and then Tamlin beat him up. So we are on chapter 16, and we begin with Pharaoh kind of trying to figure out what the social political landscape is right now. And she's, again, worrying about her shit-ass family. Like, oh, what if a war happens? Yeah, fuck off. I'm sorry. I don't like you, Farah. If you're listening, I don't like you very much in your choices.
Dude, but this chapter kicks off with Alice spitting straight fucking facts.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Oh my God, Alice is just like, you dumb bitch. What the fuck is wrong with you? You did all this surreal shit. Like, if I ever catch you doing this again, like, what the fuck? I was like, damn, Alice, all right. Like, we needed this. Like, good shit.
Good
Finally.
shit.
The theme so far is Farah keeps thinking she's being sneaky and outsmarting all these fairies, and every single time they're like, "You bitch, you dumb bitch! No, we know what you're doing."
It is weird because it's like every time it's almost more aggravating because she seems to know that she's like a bitch ass bitch, but like she keeps doing these things. And yeah, no, I agree though, but she gets kind of called out about it too, and she's like, "You think you're the only person that has something to lose out here? Like, I have children. Sorry, I have two sons."
Dude, this is where it gets this is the dumbest Farrah's ever been, hands down. She's like, yeah, she's like, "I have a family," and she's like, "Wait, Alice, you have a family?" And she's in her monologue, she's like, "Oh, but I don't see a wedding ring." And it's like, people have families that are married.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like, like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not married. Can you imagine? I have a family.
Can you imagine meeting someone and they're casually like, "Oh yeah, I have two sons." They're like, "I don't see a ring on that finger." Just like interrupting them.
Because imagine all the possibilities of someone saying, "I don't have two sons," and all, but like the best case scenario is they just aren't wearing a wedding ring. Worst case scenario, something horrible happened. Like, don't just ask that question.
It wasn't even a question. It was more of a demand.
Yeah, true. It was a demand. You're not wearing a wedding ring. Excuse you?
Oh, no, but in that, she didn't even say at that point that she had sons. She just said that she had a family, which is like, you can have brothers, sisters, a father, a mother. You don't have to be married to have those. Like, actually, just dumb as shit.
Yeah, that's not new information, though. Anyway, Alice is like, "Yeah, Farah, like, it turns out we all actually have shit to lose. So sorry. Don't be such a little idiot."
It's not all about you.
Yeah, that's true. You're not the main character of this story. And then she's like, "No, I am." And Alice is like, "Oh no, we're doomed." So anyway, she's also, yeah, and she also is like, "Hey, if Lucian tells you any other like fucking lore about the fairy world and it doesn't sound right, just come talk to me, because it's probably just like him fucking with you." Okay, let me see here. Sorry, I'm getting some weird waveforms on my thing right now.
Yeah, too. That's just I got this mic.
Yeah.
You made me panic a little bit. Now I'm looking at mine to make sure that mine's okay. Mine looks to be fine.
Mine looks like a fucking skeleton vertebrae. That's not good. Is it the sound of the... Hold on, let me turn down the... Oop. Okay.
Thank you for your patience. We are experiencing some technical difficulties.
We could edit this out, or I could edit this in.
So you mean like, should we do it twice and just have this whole section doubled?
The degree to which this is going to be part of the podcast is twice what it would have been.
This can be our cold open. You can edit this at the beginning of the podcast, and then also have it in the middle.
Yeah, I think it is my dishwasher, actually, which is across the room from me, so I guess I thought it would be okay, but it does look like it's being very loud.
That's that apartment life where you can't run an appliance, and otherwise it just disrupts everything you do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I am considering putting, like, a blanket fort up or something to try to block the sound.
If you put a blanket in your dishwasher, it really muffles the sound.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try and do some engineering here. You guys continued on the story. Hold on.
Then we get to the best part here of Lucian just being like, "Yeah, fairies can lie." I'm just like, "Yeah,
that was
you
great,
fucking idiot."
So I kind of missed I kind of missed that. Why did Farah think fairies can't lie? Is that just like some old childhood tale or something like that? Or did Tamlin say that to... Okay, that's so funny. And so much of her beliefs that have happened, like so many things that she's acted on and thought about up to this whole point in the entire story has been around the entire, like the key detail that fairies cannot lie. And that just shatters her world right now. I'm like, wait, hang on. It's extremely funny.
It's so good. It's just like, yeah, like... You took a lot at face value. You really overhyped your abilities to understand the fairy world.
I don't think anything else really that... I think it's not till the next chapter that stuff like that shit absolutely kicks off for this 4-chapter chunk.
Oh, but like this is kind of where they start the bromance piece of like her and Tamlin. She's still kind of being weird, but like this is kind of where they start kicking off the Tamlin romance. He's being a little softer. He just saved her from the Naga, but also fun fact that I learned from some ACOTAR fans is that apparently it's a joke on the subreddit that she's super into painting, as we've found out in these chapters, and people will just post pictures of her trying to paint, and it's just her drawing some stick figures, essentially.
I do like that.
I did not know that was a thing. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So it is spoilers if you try to look it up, but if Alexa wants to
curate some.
Ooh, that's a good point. I should have. Alexa's not in the room right now. Sometimes during the recording, she's in the room, and I can kind of yell to her about things that are happening.
But this time she's got a baby on top of her.
No, she is full on baby nap trapped. And looking at the time, I actually make sure she wakes up from this nap, or our evening is boned.
Wow, those are some high stakes.
Well, she better be married, otherwise it's not a real family.
That's a good point. I should investigate Alexa's hands every morning to make sure she's wearing a wedding
to make
ring.
sure she's still married. Okay. So I think we are at the part where Feyre's being stupid again, and she's like, I don't want your help. I don't need it, even though I'm desperately in need of help.
That actually doesn't narrow it down.
That's true. So we learn a little bit more lore about like the ancient, not ancient, but whatever, hundreds of years ago, relationship of the humans and the fairies. The humans were like slaves to the fairies back then.
That's later.
Oh, okay.
No, this is this chapter, isn't it?
Well, SparkNotes says it's happening right now.
I'm also looking at the Spark Notes.
It's a good outline. Why would I write an outline? Someone already wrote it.
Well, who am I to deny SparkNotes or say that I'm smarter when I listen to this on 1.5 speed anyway?
That's true.
I did chapter 1, like I did the first part of this like a week ago, like right after we recorded basically, and then the last 3 chapters more recently, so the first chapter is a little rusty.
That is exactly what I did. Yeah, I don't remember this at all. Anyway, he tells her in a little bit more detail about what's happening with their family, that he like glamored their memories and is like, yo, they think that you like got called away by your like rich aunt, and she's like sending them like money and stuff now.
Which is so funny.
And I was like, that's just like, nobody's going to question that. All right. It's like, oh man, I forgot we had a rich aunt the whole time. We were poor.
And she's like, oh, I'm so mad at him for doing that. Like, how dare he meddle with humankind? But then she's also like, well, actually, I would have, if I knew they could do that, I probably would have asked that he did that anyway. Like,
it's actually a pretty good idea. I'm kind of mad, but it's a pretty good idea.
I'm just mad at him thinking.
Okay, this guy? Okay. Okay, so then Feyre finally has the fucking gall to ask for some painting supplies. She's like, I'm gonna go for it. And he's like, yeah, sure. Whatever.
No, but this is where, we missed the best part of chapter 16, though. It's where he goes, I can help you write this letter. He's like, no. He's like, I'm not making fun of you. I'm trying to help you write this letter.
I remember that.
She's like, I laughed, no, actually. Go fuck yourself. And he's like, seriously, I'm not trying to make fun of you. Like, I just want to help you write this letter.
No. She's trying to keyboard cat.
Bad cat.
Can't keyboard right now. Later, when I turn off the computer. Yeah, alright, so that's pretty much that. He mentions that he's got a gallery that he wants to show her, and that it is not clean, so he needs a day to get it cleaned or whatever, and show it to her. And I was like, wow, gallery. Building up some something here. There better be some good prose hidden in that gallery for us.
It's called foreplay.
Sure. All right. So Feyre has a nightmare about the cereal and this like a random woman who I don't know if is significant or is like the ominous she that they keep talking about or whatever. But we learn a little bit more about them because Tamlin has a blue fairy who is, I guess, not low. What is it called? Just a regular fairy, not high fae. What are they called?
Disgusting, dirty fairy.
Just regular fae?
I don't know, just regular fae, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so they found Tamlin's explaining that like, oh yeah, we just found her, or we just found this fairy who's like dying and his wings have been like ripped off or something. Yeah, his wings were ripped off. He's like, they took my wings, and I was like, oh man, that sounds bad.
It's actually like kind of the way everything is described, and his like the way like he's like mourning and like talking about his pain. It's actually like kind of gruesome.
Yeah, no, I was like a little surprised at how, like, I don't know, the way the blood was being described and stuff, and it's like this guy's like clearly like hallucinating or not hallucinating, just like in shock or whatever. Doesn't realize what's going on. And yeah, Tamlin kind of reveals that like his magic isn't strong enough because of the blight, I guess, that he can like heal things like this anymore. And Lucian like vomits and runs away, which I thought was interesting. Adds a little character to him. It's very, very like woozy about blood because of some past encounter he had with something.
Yeah, I did think No, I agree with Patrick though. I did like she took his wings thing was like surprisingly well written.
Mm-hmm. Especially when they turn him over and then she describes like how the wings are torn off. It's
yeah,
like, it looks like they were just like sawn off. I'm like, gosh, that sounds awful.
Yeah, dude.
Like just this whole chapter does a lot to like, I don't know, this whole part in general does a lot to kind of humanize the fairies, their struggles, humanizes Tamlin a little bit, and like the way he like genuinely seems to grieve for this fairy, and it humanizes all that to not just to us, the reader, but also to Farah. Like just seeing everything and seeing the way Tamlin's acting, she's kind of like, oh, okay.
So I did like that as well. I will say like I got annoyed again with Farah at the end of this chapter because like she's having this realization like Tamlin has the capability to feel concern for others. What have I done? I was like, you little bitch.
Is this the chapter when she like is it after this or before this when she like genuinely apologizes again?
No, she apologizes for real here.
Okay, yeah. She like fully, but also she apologizes after he's been mourning the death of another fairy, so he kind of just like doesn't even react.
Yeah, which is like, fair enough. Like,
yeah.
And like also like Tamlin is like the lord of this land. Like when people like die on his watch, that is still like a little bit on his shoulders, even if it's like not his fault, right? It's like, you know, you can see why he would like feel responsible partially for that. He's supposed to be like yeah.
Previously, it said he would, you know, die in defense of or not in defense of, but against fighting tyranny and slavery, regardless of who it is. So like clearly, yeah, he's in these chapters been more characterized, and these chapters in general made me think, oh, this book is like gonna be much better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, there's some I think Tamlin's a little more like complex than he like came off at first, as well as Lucian actually. So yeah, I agree with that.
And Farah's characterization was solid in this chapter as well. I thought it was like she expressed a wider range of emotions and compassion than she previously had, which made her more relatable as a character.
The thing is that we're like at chapter like 17, and that's like kind of happening, whereas like that's normally the kind of thing you would want to do in like the first few chapters to like establish the character, I guess. I don't know. But
I guess like the intro of the book is kind of establishing like
that's true.
Her life sucks. And I don't mind it taking I guess it's different. Like I know now this is a multi-book series, but when she wrote this, it was just one book. So I guess in the context of this being just a one-off book, it did take a little long for Farah to become a little more humanized.
Yeah.
Likable, even the tiny bit likable.
That's true. Yeah, so then you know, she does genuinely apologize about Andras and who was like a close friend of theirs and everything, and you know, Tamlin's like, I'm gonna bury the fairy berry. I don't know if that's anything.
You do the exact same thing I did. I was in my car, I was like, you know what, like if I had like an album and I was writing song names, I would have a song called Bury the Fairy, and then the next song would be Fairy the Berry.
Huh. In that second one, you're ferrying like a single berry like across a body of water.
Well, like I'm on a huge like kind of new wave instrumental music kick.
Okay.
Like kind of like Polyphia-esque stuff. So it wouldn't have to actually have lyrics or any meaning. It's just like you kind of a general theme of that music is just give a fun name to something.
Okay.
So I was like, it should be fun. Like, you know.
Nice. All right, so we go to Tamlin and Lucian having a chat, and Feyre comes by in the morning, and so the three of them go out for a ride on horseback, so that like he can kind of show her around like his like greater lands rather than just like the estate of the palace or manor or whatever it is.
This is a fun fact about me and the word Glen.
Mm-hmm.
The movie Hot Rod has ruined that word for me.
It's a good movie.
Because he talks about how he galloped into a wooded glen, and it's all I can think about, and I can never use that word seriously or hear it seriously ever again. So thank you, Andy Samberg.
You could use the word glade instead. That could be fun. Okay, so yeah, I definitely had a vision in my head of this being like a magic carpet ride situation, where like he's like, let's go for a ride around the grounds, and she's like, I don't know, and he's like, do you trust me? And like reaches his hand out. So I think that's probably how it happened. But anyway, this is when they start to get like genuinely like friendly, and I think this was my only thing was that I feel like they escalated from being like her being aggressive to him to being like flirting with him like way too quickly. There wasn't like an in-between step. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because so Alexa called this part of this chapter, this chunk of chapters, catching feelings, and there was like a beginning part, like, oh, like okay, we're seeing hints of her like kind of falling for him a little bit, and then suddenly she's like, I want to fuck this guy, like,
yeah.
Like she doesn't say that out loud, but the way she's thinking and the way she's like interacting with him, I was like, holy shit, okay, this escalated so quickly from I hate this dude, I want him to die, get me out of here, to maybe we should fuck actually.
Yeah. And it's like I said, like I would like for there to maybe have been a chapter for them to like hang out or something, and then her being like, wait, what, you know, what's this strange feeling or whatever. But anyway, okay, so they go on this horseback ride. They definitely flirt a lot here, and you know, like it's just pretty standard kind of that stuff. You know, Tamlin's like, oh, I didn't realize you could make jokes, and everyone laughs heartily.
That was so cringeworthy.
Yeah, it was maybe
she made jokes before also.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like there were a few jokes that even we laughed at and talked about. So yeah, Tamlin takes her to this like lake, this like sparkly lake, which I assume is sparkling the way that Edward does in the Twilight movies.
I know we're not supposed to talk about the Forbidden series, but every time she described the lake and the different texture of the lake and the silver color of the lake, I was like, it's unicorn blood.
I see. That could be it. That would explain it. And so, yeah, like, we learn a little bit about Lucian, which I actually liked this story, and I was like, oh, man, this sounds like a way cooler story than the one we're reading.
Yeah. It was very also Tyrion-esque, like Tyrion Lannister, in terms of, you know, kind of falling in love with a woman he wasn't supposed to, his father killing the woman, or otherwise, like, doing something negative as a result.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it was an interesting story, and it was just like his like brothers like made him like watch while his dad killed the woman he loved, and they like fucking, I don't know, it was really awful actually. I was like, you know, I'll be honest, like while listening to this I'm like kind of drifting in and out, but I was like full locked in for that whole segment, like, oh man, you know. So Lucian,
I was expecting,
of course,
like, there was a section where I was like, nothing's gonna happen, and then as stuff was happening, I was like, is something gonna happen in this chapter? But yeah.
The best part though is when that story ends, Feyre goes, "Oh, but it doesn't excuse the way he's treated me." Like, yes, bitch, it does. He had his like lover murdered by his family. He had to kill 2 of his brothers, and now his dad is constantly trying to kill him, and he's just been kind of sarcastic to you. Like, yes, it completely excuses the like.
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, other
you
than
need to get over yourself a little bit, girl.
Mildly sarcastic at
yes.
worst.
Other than
Mildly
this,
sarcastic.
Other than the surreal thing, I wouldn't really like categorize anything Lucian's done as like antagonistic to her.
Which also wasn't antagonistic. He like, it circles back later. Like, everything he did was completely 100% honest in that entire encounter.
Yeah, just like basically like didn't, or rather he wasn't malignant, or not malignant, malicious or whatever. Yeah, about it. So I agree. Like I don't think he's actually treated her that poorly. In fact, most of especially in the last few chapters, like most of the stuff he's doing seems very like, like ribbing somebody that you're like, kind of close with, right? Like it doesn't really seem like he's genuinely trying to like talk down to her or anything. But anyway, we do learn a little bit more about her dad though, which is a question I asked earlier about how they lost their fortune. Which was not like a really exciting way to lose your fortune, but
yeah.
I mean, whatever makes sense. Father was like a big merchant, took a big risky trade, going through like a dangerous trade route over the ocean. The ship sank. The bet didn't pay off, so lost all their money.
It's funny that in the first episode of us recording, we had all the speculation, like, well, maybe we didn't speculate, but we're like, oh, wait, did we miss it? Was it explained how they lost the fortune? How are they poor? Like, we kind of like, and then we're like, oh, I bet it's going to be explained in detail later. And it was like the most 30-second offhanded explanation about what happened. I was like, oh,
well,
okay.
That's
not
also
important.
good because it wasn't really interesting either.
No, it was not. Yeah, just clearly not an important plot point.
Right. But I mean, I guess it's good they cleared that up. And so I think it's at this point that Tamlin begins to take his clothes off.
I was like,
yeah, he's like, yeah,
finally.
cool, good story. Anyways, I'm gonna get naked now.
Yeah, he's like, and you
Sorry,
should
your dad's
too.
dead. Or sorry, your
Yeah,
dad's like
yeah.
not dead, whatever. But like, sorry, your dad's poor.
Yeah, so he like starts to slowly unbutton his shirt, and I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. I remember this from fan fiction. But yeah, it does get like a little bit, I would say it gets a little bit weird because of Feyre's like internal monologue while this is happening. And I don't know, she's very focused on like every single part of his body being very muscular, which is good. And he's like, hardened by battle scars and stuff like that. And I'm just kind of sitting here like feeling like a big blob of dough.
Yeah, like it was like he's not going to intimidate me this time. And it's like, why are you always the victim? Like, okay, I get you were kidnapped, but like,
It's easy to forget that she was kidnapped, considering that all the circumstances around the kidnapping make it basically like not a kidnapping, because it's like so, I don't know, it's such a weird contrivance that like they've like what she's kind of done whatever, you know what I'm trying to say, circuitously is established like a reason for it to be okay morally for somebody to kidnap somebody else.
We've gone to great lengths, almost like just insane lengths to justify a kidnapping. And not us, but like Sarah J. Maas in this story. We're
also complicit because we're reading it.
But also, like, we've all accepted, like, yeah, it's the premise of the book. It's making this happen. Like, fucking whatever. Just get over it. Stop being the victim. Just fuck this dude. Like,
right.
It's just, like, we've all read a book. We know it's going to happen here. Can we please just get this over with? And finally, these chapters, like, I'm just, like, that's why these chapters were good to me, is we finally got over the hump, pun intended, of them just being in a relationship, and we can stop with her hating him when we know logically that that's not going to happen forever. We can just move on.
Yeah, that is nice. So yeah, they do it like a sexy swim. Okay, also she said at one point that she was wearing ivory undergarments, and I was like, that sounds painful. They're not made out of ivory, right?
No, I imagine just ivory, like cream color, like ivory colored.
Okay, I was thinking like an elephant tusk was involved somewhere. So that makes more sense. Also, at one point, as a descriptive word during this chapter somewhere, I think it was early on in the chapter, she said like the wording was Lucian blanched, and then I was just like, oh man, I wish I was watching Golden Girls instead of reading this. Anyway, that was just
setting the speed to 1.5.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna do that next time. That's a genius move.
I'm gonna try that as well. I do that for podcasts.
I don't like that. Well, I don't do that because I like when I listen to a podcast, I like it theoretically, so I want want to hear it, and I don't want to burn through it too quickly.
For me, it's always my time has been so limited that I'm like, I got to get through this podcast, or I'm going to be like, right now I'm horribly behind on all podcasts, so like 1.5 is necessary.
Oh no, I do laps. I like lap people on podcasts. I'm like nine listens in.
Wait a minute.
Incredible.
So you speed. I'm sorry. So you speed through podcasts you enjoy, but you take your time with this garbage?
I didn't even know 1.5 was an option. I didn't even think about it. It didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, it also did not cross my mind. I've never done it before, so I never thought about it. But that is an option.
And sorry for calling it garbage, but if you couldn't figure out,
it's on 1.2.
Oh, so you did already do this, but you just like didn't fucking commit.
It must have been years ago because I haven't. This is my first time using the Audible app in so long, so I didn't even know.
I'm opening it now.
Well,
let's see.
Anyways, I'm gonna.
And sorry to the fans.
Crank this up.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna crank this tonight at 1.5.
Garbage is a little harsh. I feel like garbage also, is a little harsh.
If you were listening to this, you've been able to piece together what my opinions are. So
yeah,
I do also think that part of our opinions are a little bit affected by the actual audiobook itself.
That is
recording
so
of the
true.
audiobook is not the best, so it's definitely had an impact on the perceived quality of this.
No, my mental health has gone downhill listening to Jennifer Aikida.
Yeah,
that's a fact. She owes me money for therapy.
Gracious, I hope she's not listening to this.
That'd be cool.
She's not. Don't worry, she's not. Okay.
and if you are, read a little faster.
Yeah, and
so that's
maybe,
it. Like otherwise,
maybe
like
try some like emotions or something. I don't know. I'm not a professional.
If you just read faster, that's all I need.
Okay. So Tamlin is like, I got your painting supplies. Let's go check out the gallery. And so Feyre walks in there, and she's like, "Oh my god, like art is good." Actually, I was like, this is one of those problems, or it's not even a problem, but it's like when you're reading a book. You can write a sentence like, and then she saw the most beautiful artwork that anyone had ever beheld. And you're like, oh, wow. But it's like, now I'm trying to visualize it, and I'm like, I can't. I don't know what this is. And I get it's like, oh, like this is like transcends human art. That we could never hope to achieve this. And I was like, okay, all right. I don't know. I mean,
to be fair, my guess is that human art in general, because like humans they were enslaved for so long, and now that they're like quote free, a lot of them are like not doing so hot. Like the quality of art, might just be in general duller in the human world. And then also maybe fairies have like cool ass paint. I don't know. I'm sure like her life has been so bleak that now that she's seeing fairy paintings, she's like, whoa, this shit's wild.
Actually, is this the color red? Holy shit! Where did you get this?
Actually, that's a good point because she's just been like, fucking like bleak is the right word. Like for a very long time, like looking at some like beautiful artwork like that, I can imagine being overwhelming. I was just like, I was just wondering like, is this like a painting of a boat? I'm gonna assume it is.
It's definitely a boat, a ferry boat.
One of my favorite Alec Baldwin quotes from 30 Rock is, "There hasn't been a good non-boat painting in 30 years."
No, but like they did do, like to your point, they described the painting earlier, like the first couple of chapters when she first gets to this castle, and they try to do that. They're like, oh, it's this ethereal, otherworldly thing, and it's like, but like, yeah, like you're not doing a great job of pulling me into that. Like, what does that mean?
This is just a tribute to the greatest song in the world. This is not the greatest song in the world. It's just a tribute.
You've got to believe me.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, we kind of go through like a time skip, which is like I think it was like a few weeks or something.
Is this after the gallery?
Yeah, after the gallery.
Oh, I want to ask something real quick. I remember when I was talking to because when Feyre gets introduced to the library, I remember being like, "Oh, it's the library scene from Beauty and the Beast." But Feyre has a pretty reaction to it because it's books and she can't read. But then she gets.
But then she's like, "I have eyes and I can art."
She gets to the gallery and then she has like basically it feels like the exact. Oh, I could have fucking beasted Joe again. Oh well. Anyway, she like gets to the gallery and she has this like breathtaking reaction to it. It's like, oh, this is her library.
Like, okay.
The equivalent of here's your library. This is her library now. She's having this like emotional reaction to it.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're right. Also, I need to make a confession, which is that, because I've missed my opportunity, which is that I have a tab open with the entire script of Aladdin. I was going to try to pull some of that off earlier with the horse ride.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't find a good spot for it, though. Okay.
Damn. That would have been great.
Yeah. Although getting Aladdin doesn't sound as funny as getting beasted.
Jafar.
Okay. Jafar. Shit. Okay.
Yeah, but I thought the weirdest part. Speaking of which, like, there's a later part where we get to chapter 19, but I think it's during this chapter where, and like, honestly, I think nothing really happens in this chapter. But there is a part where she talks about he comes out, she gets him in a trap, and he's like strung up, and he growls. He's like, "Oh, I wonder what that would be like to feel pushed up against me." But the weirdest part was like when she says, "I wish like you could grow a beard." Like, have you thought about growing a beard? Like, that kind of.
What part is that?
No, like, yeah, in chapter 19, she's like, "Yeah, like, have you thought about growing a beard?"
Oh, we jumped ahead. Yeah.
No, that's actually a quote from the live-action Beauty and the Beast, you fucking piece of shit.
Oh, damn.
Live-action Beauty and the Beast?
You got
live-action
Beauty
and the Beast.
Dude, I watched that movie on an airplane the way God intended.
I don't remember when I watched that movie.
You're not safe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely less familiar with quotes and dialogue from the live-action Beauty and the Beast movie. So
Everybody is.
Yeah, shame on us. I guess I'll have to rewatch that now.
No, I will.
That's
not
a real
do that.
quote from that movie.
Well, read that again for me.
I believe you. I didn't think you made
the
that
voices.
Have you thought about growing a beard? And then they smirk and
that
they
Emma
laugh.
Watson?
Is that
That's
what
Emma Watson.
Yeah,
Good, great Emma
it's
Watson.
like
Thank
she's
you.
in the room. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close the script for Aladdin. Unless I was trying to think of something I could do with the Cave of Wonders, but no, we're not yet. Soon. Okay, so anyway, there's a bunch of boring stuff about her having nightmares, blah blah blah. But after she paints for a long time and she's like, "Oh, this sucks," she like throws out every painting she makes, which I'm assuming is stick figures, as we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes out to the garden, and we learn about the mating and marriage rituals of fairies, which was exciting, I guess.
I didn't really follow that part. He's mainly saying like everyone gets married, but only some people mate for life or whatever. I was like,
Yeah, but they call it mating when it's like you find your soul mate, I guess. And then like other than that, people get married, and that's I guess that's temporary.
So it's just like falling in love, basically. Like arranged marriages versus falling in love, I guess, is kind of the real world equivalent of that.
I guess. And weirdly, Twig did just post that thing from the Bible in the chat here. Let me read that out about marriage and divorce so we can get an idea on this. Some Pharisees came and tested him by asking, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife? What did Moses command you?" He replied. They said, "Moses permitted a man to write a certificate of divorce and send her away." And then Jesus basically goes on to be like, actually, no, Moses was wrong. You can't, like, men don't have a special right to, like, get divorced. Like,
You're not going to
does.
Bible us. I know this isn't from the book.
No, I didn't say it was from the book. I literally just said, like, the fucking Pharisees. Anyway, I thought this was interesting because...
Wait, so this is Bible fanfic?
Nice. Did we lose Nirav? That joke just kill him?
Fucking got him.
Wait, did we actually lose him? Oh no.
Oh, we're hostless.
Oh no.
We're free.
We're free, finally.
Oh my god.
If
we
anyone's
broke the
listening,
curse.
send help, please. Nirav is keeping us prisoner here. He's making us read this book together and record this podcast. It's a nightmare. Someone, please send help.
I'm so sad all the time. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to go home.
Gosh.
I don't even like podcasts. I don't even like this book. Oh, yeah, I love this book. I love this podcast.
So much fun.
All right, we do it?
I didn't do it. I'm so sorry.
Okay, we'll do it at 30.
30, let's go.
All right. Did you do it this time?
I did do it this time.
Okay.
Welcome back to
All
Wednesday Night Live
Yeah, so we're starting the episode over again, right?
with your host.
God, let me out of here.
Nirav
All right.
Gandhi.
We can't stop it before the most interesting part happens, please. Okay. So, we get over to a few days or weeks later or something. Some time has passed. Sorry, was that seamless transition from the last bit? Ellie stepped on my computer, and she sits on my computer, and she turned off the power, like she likes to do. And so my computer closed, but luckily I was able to save the recording. So yeah, I need like some sort of like cat shield for my computer. If anyone has that, I'm in the market right now.
It is wild how many people complain about cats turning off their computer because the power button's on the top, and yet companies still continue to put the power button on the top of the computer.
Yes, I was just thinking that, dude.
It's
like, why is that
insane.
happening? Like that is like the number one cat attack method is turning off your computer because the button's on the top. I'm gonna have to create some sort of like plate or something to put over it. Anyway. Okay, so we get to the most interesting part of this section of the book, and we are learning. Let me see, where are they? They go out to like the woods or something, right? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they go out to.
They're out for a ride, right?
They're out for a ride, yeah. So
yeah, they are.
oh my god.
Oh, this is the chapter that I was like, because in the beginning of the chapter, she talks about how Tamlin's away doing something, and while he's away, she's worried sick about him. Like, oh my gosh, I hope he's okay. I was like, oh my gosh, what you hate?
When will my husband come back from the war?
2 weeks ago, yes.
Okay, so yeah. Anyway, we get to the. Sorry, I gotta rush through this. My D&D game's supposed to be starting right now.
Welcome.
Yep. All right. Anyway, we learn that. We hear like a voice or some stuff is happening, and Tamlin's like, "Hey, Farrah, hide in this bush," and shoves her into it. And then Lucian and Tamlin are side by side talking to some sort of invisible person, which I assume is another fairy of some kind. There's
the Ator is what it's called.
the what?
Okay.
Ator.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, like in my mind, I was like surfing through all Disney movies trying to make sure that wasn't something from one of them.
You'll never know.
Yeah. It's called the Mufasa. Okay, so anyway, this mysterious woman is clearly the she that they've been referring to that they are so afraid of. She has some sort of great power of some kind over these people, and so even Tamlin, like Lucian looks like scared, and Tamlin even looks like outright like tense and like like he is afraid of this person as well. There's kind of a hint that like there's a larger thing going on now, and that the Ator, which is this creature here, is like the source of the legends that humans have about fairies, like all the horrible like bloodthirsty shit that they do. But like I think we kind of are just getting like a tease of like, oh, is this like our bad our like villain or whatever, And,
well, they talked about like we know there's like a mysterious woman who is like the threat, like a she they always refer to. So this is like her messenger or something.
Yeah, this thing is like this person. I think she's also like she's working for that person, right? Is the idea?
Yeah, that's what I gathered.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think we're just starting to get a little bit of a tease of like who I think the villain is for this book at least. But yeah, we don't really like know a bunch about it, but I was like interested, I was like, oh, interesting, I want to know more about like the evil shit and like maybe have like an antagonist. I don't know. Well, now we made it to chapter 19. We're finally getting teased about having an antagonist, so ooh.
And it sounds like I don't think we're supposed to 100% follow what's happening because it's like
no, it's supposed to be purposely vague. Yeah,
it's pretty vague, but like it sounds like the big bad is just like dumping fairies into Tamlin's land on purpose to antagonize him. Like that's like is that what's happening?
That I kind of got. I don't know about dumping fairies is a lot funnier than like sending them. So yeah, she's dumping fairies like by by the bucket. I don't know why, but I'm imagining like a giant like Nickelodeon slime bucket, dumping these fairies like right over the wall. It's like getting TP'd, but like you're getting ferried. And that's pretty much what I was getting from it too. And it's almost like this person, whoever she is, she's like a lot stronger than Tamlin, I think, and so she's just like throwing fairies on his property, and he's like, "What are you gonna do about it?" It's kind of like where we are.
It sounds like she's just fucking with Tamlin, like, because clearly this woman is really powerful, whoever she is. So she's kind of just like throwing shit over there to like fuck with him, because he's not. It sounds like he's not bending the knee or something. Like he's not being as obedient as she wants. So she's just screwing with him.
Ben D. Knee is his name.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good one.
Thanks. All right. So on that really strong joke, we do need to close out. So anyway, they go back to the house, and Feyre's like, "I wonder what that was. I don't know anything. I'm gonna paint." That was my Feyre impression.
Good Feyre impression. I knew who you were talking about too.
Yeah. All right. So quick predictions for what's coming. I think that this mysterious person, this like dark shadowy figure, is possibly the queen of one of the other courts, and possibly related to Tamlin in some way. Like perhaps, if not like a former lover of his, maybe even like a sibling or somebody that way. But somebody who has a previous close connection to him is my guess.
Do you think they kiss in the next chapters?
In the next set of chapters? Yeah,
in the next set of chapters, do you think they kiss?
I will say yes, they kiss in the next set of chapters somewhere.
My gut was yes as well, but I don't know how slow of a burn this is.
Well, she went straight from she went straight from "don't fucking look at me" to "I want to fuck you."
That's true. And
So
they
we
have
don't
been
know.
like sharing some intimate touching in general, so yeah, I think a kiss happens. I think we finally get a kiss.
Okay, it's a little bit of a tease. It's like it might even be like a fucking like cheek kiss or whatever the fairy equivalent of that is.
Well, they already
Maybe
did
it's one
that.
of those. Oh yeah, I guess they. Wait, what? What is that?
Yeah, he already kissed her on the cheek.
On the cheek?
No, this is a Beauty and the Beast
Hold
thing
on.
again.
No.
That genuinely happened. That genuinely happened in this book.
Did he actually kiss her? I thought they were just
he
like.
kissed her on the cheek.
I don't remember this.
Yes.
Okay, I missed that.
It was also he read her smut. We kind of glossed over that, but he read her.
Oh my gosh, we
writings.
read her. We glossed over the smut.
We glossed over the smut writings.
He wrote her sexy.
Yeah, I don't know why we
poems that he
talked
wrote
about
her.
the plot.
That's
It's stupid.
true.
The plot sucks. The smut was
We should
hilarious.
have talked about the smut the entire episode.
Okay, I did enjoy that part.
The problem is that Sarah wrote that Tamlin read her smut, but she did not actually give us what the smut was.
Yeah, it was dirty. It's like, yeah, fuck you,
Please,
that's
what
lame.
a tease! Don't tell us it's dirty.
And he read
I
the
wanna know-
dirtiest smut ever.
It was so smutty.
It was so nasty. I can't even tell you what it was because you'd blush, reader. I can't even. It's just nasty.
You get so horny if you heard this smut.
Oh my god. All right. So anyway, that was this chapter. Great.
The smut.
That's how all chapters should end. And that was this chapter.
And that was this chapter. Thanks for listening.
I like that a lot. I think there should be more. There should be more books that are like, thanks for reading, like in the text of the book.
Okay.
Okay.
Another chapter down. Good job.
Come on, champ. Just 3 more till the big thing happens. Okay. Anyway, let's wrap up. So, thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with our next set of chapters. And in the meantime, I am going to try and organize some of our, I think our first YA Apocalypse episode in the next coming weeks. So we'll get started on those too, because I didn't have enough to do. All right, so I think that's probably it. You can find us, of course. We have you can find us on whatever podcaster you like, whatever podcatcher you like, but we also have a link tree, which is like, the link tree, like linktr.ee/acababpod. Don't worry about that. Just search it on your favorite podcatcher. It'll come up. And also, I do another podcast called Game Busters. So check that one out if you like this. And I think Joe's going to be featured on our next episode for our Good Games Inc. special episode. So we'll maybe do a little cross posting here. Okay. In the meantime, I guess
like to plug our first sponsor. We are sponsored by Poop Like a Loser cereal.
Okay.
It's got only 10 grams of fiber, and you can get 20% off at loserpoop.com/acapab. So
okay.
Give us a plug.
I don't want to go to loserpoop.com to see what's there, but I would like somebody else to. Okay. So yeah, whatever is there, you can get 10% off of it with the link. We don't know what it is yet.
It's not an active. It goes to like some weird. Yeah, it's not a real website.
Okay, don't worry about it. All right. Well, until then, I guess we'll close out. So we'll see you next time, and keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking.
And support your local bookstore.